Huge game in the Premier League this weekend. Who knows, could eventually be a title decider. It all takes place at Anfield. Liverpool hosting Manchester City, two sides who over the last, 4 or 5 years have gone head-to-head in so many big games. It's always felt like Jurgen Klopp had the number over Pep Guardiola a little bit. Will it be the case this time around? I think this game is simply massive in terms of the title race at the end of the season. Manchester City already giving a big warning to their rivals with that win at Chelsea last weekend. I think it was quite disappointing to see how happy they were in a way with a defeat at Paris Saint-Germain, because they played absolutely brilliantly. So you can understand the positives there. But ultimately, they lost 2-0 in pretty familiar fashion in the Champions League for me. So going into this game against Liverpool, I think it's really important that they start well. Liverpool, of course, beat Porto 5-1 in midweek. They've been scoring goals upon goals upon goals. That's the big threat. I don't even know how to call it, but I've got to ask you, James, how important do you think this will be come the end of the season?
I think it's huge to sort of try and see some kind of weaknesses with Man City. I feel like this is one for the neutrals where we kind of need to just kind of root for, I know you probably won't want to do this, but root for Liverpool a little bit, just kind of really feel like there can be a title race between these two. Now, well, in terms of these head-to-head games, because what I saw last week, with Man City against Chelsea, made me really feel that Man City, they might have games where they don't get the goals that they want to, but they will dominate this league and they will dominate pretty much every game they will play. And you said it yourself with the game against PSG. Yes, they dominated that game, but if you don't score the goals, you don't win the game. It's very, very simple. So this game is probably the only game I would imagine, the only one I can think of otherwise is Man United last season, where Man United just were very positive in how they played. This is going to be the only game really where I see a team have a go at Man City. We've seen that really worked for them previously. You know, Liverpool, if they're going to sit back against Man City will win this game. But if Liverpool can really have a go at them, especially at Anfield, you know, on a Sunday, it's going to be a cracking game, an amazing atmosphere. These are the games that Liverpool fans would just, they're gasping for these games. They're drooling for these games. So I think that's all incredibly exciting. When I then look underneath the hood of it, I start to get a little bit concerned for Liverpool because of that right-hand side for them. Trent struggling with a groin injury at the moment. Looks like he's not going to play in this one. So James Milner is expected to step in. And that is a problem with the ball and without the ball. He's very similar in terms of being someone who could play in midfield, but is happy to play there at right back. So can do some of those roles. But he's not Trent, is he, Hugh?
Yeah, I mean, and this is, I think, the culmination of that view that Liverpool don't have the squad that their rivals have. You know, it's been said previously, you know, I think Liverpool fans would agree, you know, when you look at Man City squad, when you look at Chelsea squad, you know, the strength in depth that they have, even possibly at Manchester United. Liverpool starting 11, we know how brilliant it is. But I'm sorry, if James Milner's playing right back, you know, at the weekend, you start Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side. You don't worry about Jack Grealish. You know, you just go out and out. Let's just go for pace. You know, this is a player totally out of position. I'd be surprised if Milner started. I think it might be Joe Gomez, but again, you've basically got a centre-half playing at right back. I know he's done the job before, but it's going to be a real area of weakness. Without
that could be interesting, couldn't it, Hugh? If Joe Gomez plays on that right-hand side and Raheem Sterling plays as well. Because they've got a little bit of history, haven't they, as well? A little bit of
history. But I did want to come back to what you mentioned about Liverpool taking the game to Man City and have a go at them. I don't think they will, actually, even though they're at home. You know, it sounds weird because, of course, there's no way that Liverpool don't have a go at teams because they're such a good attacking force. But when you say sit back, yeah, I think the game will be played, you know, in Liverpool's defensive half. I think they will be defending quite deep in this game. By the way, why wouldn't you? If James Milner's playing right back, why would you leave 40 yards of space in behind your defence? You know, you just wouldn't want to do that, would you? So I don't think they've got an issue with playing deep and playing on the counter-attack. They're brilliant at it. They've got midfielders that can pass the ball. They've got a front three that can break on you. If it's Jota, Mane and Salah, unbelievable front three, quick. You know, you can do a little bit what Paris Saint-Germain did to City in midweek and play with, you know, virtually 7 defensive
players. That's not Liverpool, though, is it? That's not Liverpool's way.
I've got to say, it can work for them more than any other team in the top 4. They are lightning from end to end in attack whenever they want to be. This could be the game to set up. By the way, I don't actually think they're going to have much of a choice in this, because I think City will monopolise possession, will play the game in Liverpool's defensive half mainly. I think the Man City defensive line is going to be quite high up the pitch, and that will leave space for Mane, and that will leave space for Salah, to break in behind. So I think that's where the game is going to be won or lost. I think Liverpool will play predominantly on the counter. Manchester City will try and dominate possession and make chances. They are seriously missing a striker. I'm going to repeat it every single week. If I have to see the ball go across the 6-yard box and no one there to tap it in, Pep, do me a favour. I've been begging you, please. It is not, at times, it looks like a sweet, sweet science, but sometimes it's that simple. Play a striker to keep him in the penalty box.
They haven't got a striker. They don't have any strikers anymore.
Well, I'm sorry, but you saw Gabriel Jesus, who found himself central for one key moment in that game against Chelsea, and he scored a goal that only someone with a striker's instinct would have scored. I'm sorry, but Phil Foden wouldn't have scored that goal. Kevin De Bruyne wouldn't have scored that goal. Receiving it back to goal, to be able to have a touch with 3 defenders around you, swivel and get your shot off. Yes, it was deflected, but that is the difference in these massive games, those small margins. Please, I know it's Gabriel Jesus. He's not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but he knows where the back of the net is. Get him in the penalty box, please, Pep.
Manchester City haven't faced a shot on target in 3 of their 6 Premier League games. Very, very strong at the back. But Liverpool are the only side still unbeaten in the Premier League. That game in the Premier League that Man City lost, it does kind of sit to your point, Hugh, of Spurs defending very deep, counter-attack and hurting them. Same with PSG in the week. So it's interesting. Normally, you feel like Liverpool could be the kryptonite to Man City, but you seem to be kind of going down this road that you feel like it's actually with a team that hasn't got that central striker. It's actually the teams that sit back and soak it up well. Those are the teams that are going to be able to get something out of it. But the big question is, who's going to win this one?
I think it's going to be a very tight game. I think they'll both get on the score sheet. I'm going to go for a 1-1, maybe 2-2 draw. I think they're both probably the 2 best teams in the Premier League right now as we speak on current form. Chelsea have been good, but not for the past few games. So I think it's going to be a cracker. I'm praying it's going to be a fantastic game. How do you see it?
Yeah, I'm just as you're chatting now, I'm trying to think, I've asked him a question here. I'm going to have to figure out what my prediction is. I think Liverpool will surprise us. I think Liverpool might get the victory in this one. Yes, Milner's not Trent. Yes, Milner is a bit older, but he's still an incredible professional. And the team has great confidence. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because you've got the PSG game, Liverpool playing Porto, Man City playing PSG, and we kind of feel like Man City are struggling. They're playing a very good side in PSG, and Porto, that is one of the worst goalkeeping performances I've ever seen in my entire life. So a lot of the goals were kind of given to them, but confidence does matter. And I think with Van Dijk back in the side, I think it's going to be really good. I could see a 2-2, actually. I could see it being a 2-2, or maybe the crowd gets them over the line and Liverpool sneak this one.
Hi, I'm Hugh Wisencroft from ESPN's Football Forecast. Make sure you're subscribed. You can follow all of our predictions throughout the season and get some other great analysis from our big names as well.